The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered 12. Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Welcome to Feast Week, everybody. It is Thanksgiving week. It is a Monday. It's a Whale Watch Monday. Different week, different day, but it's still Alex Kane, and it's still the Bostonian versus the book. Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the book. The same on Twitter, X. We are replayed on Sporttrade Television and SiriusXM, channel 159. I know we caught you guys a little bit off guard for the live show. A little bit of a curveball here. We'll get into the week. Alex Kane will join us momentarily. Dave, how are you? Thanksgiving week. It's a busy one for all of us. Just 2 shows for us this week.
Yes, Thanksgiving week. We didn't mean to confuse anybody. We're here every day except this week. We're only here Monday and Tuesday. Just letting you know right now, so you know, wherever you're traveling, you might have to go back and listen to an old episode or 2 because we won't have anything going on here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, Thanksgiving week. There's a lot of prep. There's a lot of things going on. I don't cook, but really? I'm here.
Oh, I cook.
Oh yeah, I know, and I don't cook.
I cook.
But there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things.
Airplanes,
still my favorite
cars.
holiday. My favorite holiday. Thanksgiving is the best.
It's your
Love
favorite holiday.
Yep.
This is going to be one of the weirdest holidays, I think, for America, because the amount of people who are giving advice as to what to do over the Thanksgiving table is hysterical. Like, everyone's trying to say, like, this is how you handle it. This is how you talk, that you don't talk. You do talk. Everyone. I expect to see a litany of Friday news stories about problems at Thanksgiving with police showing up and people having problems. And I don't think Thanksgiving is the best holiday. I will disagree with you and Chef Benny, who both say Thanksgiving is the best holiday. I will give you this, though. It's the holiday that has the least connotation to anything else except just the meal and the event itself. Like, Christmas has got all sorts of different things around it, right? Hanukkah's got all sorts of different things around it. There's religious implications. There's gifts. There's pressure. There's family. So there's different. Thanksgiving is basically just the meal. It's just sitting down. And for somebody like myself, who's from New England, this is the original. This is the OG. This is the holiday that started America. So have you ever seen Plymouth Rock, by the way?
No.
It is the most embarrassing thing in the world when you see it. It's just a rock with a little sketch that says like 1624 in it or something. It's really funny, but it's like all guarded. It's deep down in the ground. It has all these like big guards all around it, so nobody can deface it. Nobody can jump in and spray paint it or do something stupid. So, but yeah, I mean, family, food, and football, Chef Benny, I'll give you that. Yeah, I mean, that is a definite plus, a huge plus to having Thanksgiving and what it means. The travel is somewhat of a difficult thing. I got people flying in here tonight. Amanda and her mother and Brooks are flying in tonight, landing here. It's going to be a busy week here in Vegas. The Creighton Blue Jays are here. Happy birthday to Coach Greg McDermott. Today's his birthday. They play tomorrow. There's a litany of games tomorrow. You got Houston, Alabama tomorrow, which probably is the best basketball game of the week that happens here in Vegas. So you got that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Pacific for 2 top 5 basketball teams playing. We've got college football to get into, NFL football, Survivor contests. There's just a lot going on. And our guy, I mean, Sporttrade there's a lot to talk about with Alex. They're doing well.
It's one of those things that as everything's ramping up to very busy, like the football, there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of people finding the show, finding Sporttrade finding it's an interesting thing to look at, and this and that. They're ramping up, and then there's a holiday.
Right.
But for a lot of people, I mean, I worked every Thanksgiving
Wow.
for 16 years in a row. It wasn't like I took off.
But did you want Christmas off? Is that why? So you like, I work Thanksgiving so I can be home for Christmas?
Well, at the beginning, it was you're working, we're open.
Okay.
Vegas is open.
Right.
Like you're working. You just have to determine which part of the day you work.
Oh, okay.
You know, so like when I moved here, it didn't lessen the holidays because I grew up in a retail family. And
so you knew
Christmas season was, I mean, it was just nonstop. Like it wore us out. So I got a little bit of different, like, you know, this was the week that the holiday that everybody congregated, everybody could enjoy.
Right.
Because the day after Thanksgiving was real. Black Friday, before the internet and being able to shop like on your phone or on a computer, you had to be open and people were there to get something.
Are you cool with Black Friday being extended for like 2 weeks?
I don't even know what it's become.
Should Black Friday be like Friday, or are you cool with Black Friday being like November 10th, Black Friday deal?
It's become so commercialized that I just can't understand it.
Well, Black Friday is commercialized. It's just funny to me that like we're taking a day that was meant for like, okay, the best deals, the best prices, here is your way. And now it's not just the 29th, whatever it is this year. It's now going to be for an entire month. Like Target and Walmart have been doing Black Friday deals since the middle of the month. like, come get your Black Friday deal. It's like, wait, what?
That's the thing I don't understand is when the Black Friday deal started 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Like, hold on. What can we get that now? Yes. So it's really not a Black Friday deal.
Right. It's really not a deal. Why is it
have to wait?
This? It's just be the price. Make the price what it is and just leave it alone, because it is. I mean, I know they're trying to get us to spend. I know they're trying to have us buy more things. And that's one of the reasons why people don't like Christmas, because they don't like the fact that there is so much gift giving and the kids start to feel like they want and they need or they deserve. And it's like it takes away. Thanksgiving is just sitting down and eating. And it's one of the biggest, as a father, one of the things that I will always question is my daughter has never had what I had for Thanksgiving. And I wonder what that will be like for her long term, as whether she cares or not. Like if you don't know what you don't know, so she may not remember. But for Thanksgiving, for me, Thanksgiving was a 3-month buildup because we did a turkey bowl after Thanksgiving, or actually before Thanksgiving.
Right.
But we did drafts. We had the in-laws versus the cousins.
Mm-hmm.
We had full-blown arguments. This is before the internet. We had like my uncle Vinny took this to a whole different level. He literally would send out draft notices. He would say, you have been drafted at this selection to participate in the annual DeQuattro Turkey Bowl. And he would list the roster when you got drafted, who's the quarterback, who's going to be starting running back. Like we legitimately played this thing out until my uncle blew his ACL out during the Turkey Bowl, and then things kind of took a turn when he blew his knee out. But like I had a 3-month buildup to the day that we would play a Thanksgiving Day family football game.
Yep.
And then we would all go eat. And there was like 20 to 30 people. It was enormous. It was a huge deal.
Yep.
My daughter will have meals with like 3 or 4 people. Like she has small gatherings. It doesn't take it away. She's with family on Thanksgiving, but she didn't have the gigantic meal that I had growing up.
I think about that all the time. You know, because Jess's mom handles it and we kind of just show up and I mean, we live in the same house now, but it's always been that way. And we don't, you know, the couple years that we didn't get together, we were in Arizona. We didn't come up here, but everybody came there, and we did a meal. Jess did it at our townhouse one time. My sisters and brother-in-law, everybody came over. The big meal is at some point you got to do it so they understand.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You know,
she's been
but we
home.
have girls, like the turkey bowl thing is done.
Done. No, yeah, it sucks. I'm not gonna deny it sucks. I wish it kept going, but like my mom would often said, like, how do you keep it going? Because my mother was one of 7. She has 5 sisters and 1 brother, and so all of them got married, and all of them had kids. And I'm the 3rd oldest on my mom's side. I have 2 older cousins, both boys, and so the 3 of us were like sports nuts. My cousin Christopher was a top 25 running back in the state of Connecticut. And so like football was a big part of what they would do. My uncle played football at Boston College for a little bit. And so there's a football family. My other cousin went to Syracuse. And so like we were all like sport nuts. So all of the kids came in. Now it would be awkward or difficult to do it because, there's not the same hierarchy. I had a very unique childhood growing up. I have 17 cousins on my mom's side alone. 19 cousins on my mom's side alone. So I got a big Italian family. I got a lot of, we had a lot of bodies to go play football with and go, we could form an 8-person team on either side. And the in-laws taking on the cousins, some of my uncles decided to take liberties that weren't really today would not be allowed. Footballs at the head, forearm shivers, 2-hand touch brought tears to many kids
Yeah.
on the game.
Yeah.
It sucks. I wish there was some way of recreating it and explaining what that was like. We played in the snow a couple of years.
Oh yeah.
Super fun to do that.
The best.
Turkey bowls are awesome.
Turkey bowl almost ended with the longest yard. The last one that I played in, I'll save that story. I've told that before in the show.
Police showing up?
No, it was close. It was close. I thought there was going to be a real problem. I know that I couldn't move. After that one. The physical toll that one took retired some people from playing in a turkey bowl.
Because turkey bowls aren't unique to the East Coast, right? I mean, family turkey bowls are universal, right? Coast to coast, everybody in the South.
I don't know. Put it in the chat if you're here watching the show. Have you ever played in a turkey bowl?
Family. I don't mean like a high school turkey bowl, because pretty much, I know that's pretty much Thanksgiving holiday is a big rivalry day, or Black Friday is a big rivalry day for high school football, because oftentimes the football.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like a pickup.
Yeah, family pickup game. Yeah.
Right. A family pickup football game, or it doesn't even have to be family. Like when we were young, we'd meet at the park in the morning, and basically probably all our parents were like, "Yeah, just go ahead, go. You have to be back by noon."
Yep.
You can go. You guys want to go play football at 9 a.m. You guys are getting up by yourself. I have to pry you out of bed every morning for school, but you're up ready to go to play football. Goodbye.
100%.
Be home by noon, or you're going to get killed.
Right?
Oh.
Everyone will get killed. Alex is from Canada. This is interesting. How many people here do turkey, ham, potato stuffing for Thanksgiving and then run it back for Christmas? Because Canadian Thanksgiving is different than U.S. Thanksgiving, right? I mean, what do they eat with Canadian Thanksgiving? They don't eat turkey, do they?
I don't know.
Because
I think Alex is from Chicago.
But they live in Canada? Oh, you're from Chicago. Sorry, I thought he was from Canada. Okay, I apologize. The hockey obsession tricked me into thinking he was from Canada.
Wow, what a judgment you just made there. That only people from Canada like hockey. What are you talking about?
In Canada, it's turkey and ham. I wasn't wrong. See, I wasn't wrong to make that assumption. They do both. They do turkey and ham in Canada. It's different.
We do turkey and ham here too.
And Christmas too? On both?
That's what we do.
Interesting.
I don't know. We're not from Canada. And we like hockey.
We would do turkey on Thanksgiving, but we would do something different on Christmas. We would do a more elaborate meal. Like we were more traditional on Thanksgiving. Ham kind of stinks. See, I think turkey stinks. I don't like turkey. I'd rather have ham than turkey.
What are you doing?
Turkey is, unless I'm deep frying the turkey, which I've done numerous times. If I deep fry it, I can get the flavor on the turkey that I like. Otherwise, turkey is really bland. There's no flavor to it.
It's just there's a turkey and there's a ham.
That's fine. And I'm cool with both, but like on Thanksgiving, we'd go traditional. We're not this year, which I absolutely love. We're not going traditional. I'm not making turkey this year, which I'm so excited about. And then Christmas could be prime rib. Christmas could be steak. Christmas could be something else, like more of an elaborate meal on Christmas. We spent more on the meal on Christmas than we did on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
More time, more expensive ingredients. Ham is for Easter. Prime rib for Christmas. Turkey on Thanksgiving. That's not bad, Eric. I don't mind that.
That's a hell of a parlay right there, Pisano.
That's not bad.
Man.
I don't mind that at all. That's one of those swap it up, change it up, whatever you're gonna do. I am somewhat of a traditional side person for Thanksgiving. Like I need to have mashed potatoes, need to have squash, I don't do stuffing, but there's just certain things I need to have for Thanksgiving.
Don't do stuffing?
No. I can't have gluten, so that's why stuffing's out for me. I can't do I can't do stuffing. But I don't like. But the controversial take is I hate gravy. That's my controversial take. I hate gravy. People are like, you hate gravy. I hate gravy. Let's go whale watching with our guy, Alex Kane. How are you, sir? Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for doing this today.
Happy Thanksgiving to you both.
Are you in the middle of trading? Or are we catching you in the middle of anything right now? We have trading, you for 15 minutes.
No trading, no nothing. Just looking at the markets, seeing what's going on.
All right, good. I mean, I just thought you might be busy in the middle of trading because you guys are doing ridiculous number of trades now. You keep showing me this number and it goes up every week. This is good news, Alex. This means things are happening, are they not?
Things are happening. We're a very good week again. Set a record, which was great. Things business as usual. So that's very, very exciting. Just trying to think like what more can we add so we can try to keep hitting these records each week. It's kind of like the tough thing is like the nice thing about setting a record is you set the record, but then the next week it's like, oh, it gets incrementally harder. And so you start to run out of places where you can find extra trades. And that's where it comes down to, customer acquisition and, making the product USP super clear to customers. And, that's an iterative journey for us. And we're doing much better, which is great. And so, customers are coming to the platform. Customers are trading. Things are good. Markets are more liquid. So I think that has a big impact, that we're able to show.
It's up right now. And this week is basically the last full week of college football. I mean, college basketball, NBA basketball is ramping up, and there's people that don't think NBA season starts until Christmas. So it's kind of good, right, that you're setting a new record and more trading, but like there's a plateau of something here, is there not?
Yes, I think if we set the record this week, which I think is probably 60% likely, then doing it the week after is going to be really tough because, to your point, you lose college football. And that is such a driver for us. I mean, we're really starting to show more and more pregame liquidity for college football. And players were responding, betting, 5, 10, 15, 20 K on basically everything, spreads, money lines, and totals. So that's going to take a step back, obviously, in the calendar. And college basketball is like, even at these sharp books like Pinnacle, it's like nowhere near the size, right? No. Like you can get 20K down on game day on a college football side. You can't get 20K down on a college basketball side. No. You just can't. And that's a big driver for us. So there's going to be definitely that sort of pullback, but you have to plug those holes, right? Next man up, right? As they say in all the sports movies. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to just continue to grind and continue to grow.
In terms of what you guys do versus when, quote unquote, the public books do poorly. Like we saw a lot of Lions money, Eagles money, Bucks money. We saw a lot of those favorites come in. Not only did they get hit heavy on both sides, both pro and quote square. How do you guys do when that happens? Does it matter? Is it different? Are your results different when heavy favorites come in and win and cover?
Yeah, it's the goal and the dream is to get to that point where you could be as recreational as you possibly hope, right? Where you have a lot of people saying, well, the Chiefs were losing in the first half, so a shit ton of people bet the Chiefs, right? That's the to borrow the meme that Dave always posts of the waterfall, right? Of all the bets coming at halftime because the Chiefs are down 2 touchdowns, and it's like there's no price you could possibly hang on the other team to make one bet other than sharps come in on that side. The goal is to get to that point. I'm going to look at the telemetry we have now. I think, let's see. Yes, so Saturday, and this is from the market maker's perspective. So you have the market makers on one side, you have the customers on the other side, and Sporttrade sort of in the middle, right, as the marketplace. Market makers had a very good Saturday. They won 120,000. And then it was 140, 150 when you count all the games that settled after midnight. And then they lost about 40,000 on Sunday. So I think we had some big Chiefs bets on the money line, which got sweaty there in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. I'm trying to think with the all the big bets were on the Eagles. Eagles minus 2.5.
That's why I get the Eagles.
Some people were betting the Eagles minus 6.5 and hitting that, and putting totals. I think totals around 48, 49. We were betting over 50.
Yeah,
that one obviously. So, but that's the great thing about this system is like, you hope that the market makers sort of net out slightly positive, right? Because they have to create a business and be viable. But you don't want a drubbing every single day. Either you want, and I'm looking at our P&L, and when I look at the last 20 days, there's probably 12 days that were positive for the market makers and 8 days that were positive for the players.
That's enough. That's good.
That's good. And I think we have to get probably 4 to 5 times our size to get to a point where like just the scale is so large that it's not really possible that the customers in the aggregate are going to win in any given day. And so we still have variance. We've had days where customers have won 500,000. We've had days where customers have lost 500,000.
Right.
So we have just that up and down variance, and that's good for marketplace, right? Everything's in check. There's no glitches. There's no holes. It's working fairly. And I think that's one metric you can look at and say, okay, wow. So you have customers that win on a given day. You have customers that lose on a given day. It really is a marketplace, right? It's not constantly a loss. And part of that's because, we don't yet offer things like parlays and those sort of things, which really reduce variance for the sports book in terms of people just bet so much and all these conflicting parlays, and the vig is so much that it's really, really hard to foresee a day where customers, can win.
Until they hit those crazy parlays, and then you come in and you go, whoa, what the hell just happened here? And a bunch of people had this. 24-6. If you can get the 30-month or 30-day month, it can be 24-6. That's your number. Just keep that in the back of your mind, Alex. I used to say, we'll take 24, they get 6, and we're good. Everybody's happy. That keeps them in play. It keeps the business. If it starts to swing more than that, you don't have a business. You're taking people to the cleaners. Yesterday was a crazy, 35 to 45 minute insane period in the NFL. The early session was ending, the beginning, the 3 afternoon games were starting, but it was nuts. Did you guys see? Are you seeing a lot of the in-game handle? I mean, the Chiefs were going to lose until they weren't.
Yep.
The Cowboys had the game won until they didn't, then they did. The swings. Are you watching it, or are you? It's fun to watch. It gives the traders it tests your heart. It tests your internal fortitude.
Yep.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It's absolutely nuts. That last, the last 5 minutes of the Washington game was wild. like Jaden Daniels throws that pass. There was a bunch of players that had Jaden Daniels under passing yards there.
Oh.
And he wasn't even close. I mean, he entered the fourth quarter with 81 yards. He had no, and so I see all that. I go on the tape, right? And I'm saying, okay, this is the great thing about the tape. This is it's a feed of all the trades that happen on Sporttrade in real time. And sometimes our market makers can have differentiated pricing. And so whenever I want to think to myself, what bet should I place today? I look at the tape. And every time I see everybody is taking, let's say, Jaden Daniels under, right? You have to realize, well, it's a marketplace. There might be smart people on both sides of this trade, so to speak. And so if somebody hits Jaden Daniels full size for the under, and then again, and then again, and again, and again, and again, and the price isn't moving, the market maker must really have an opinion, right? And I don't really mind betting on the same size as the market maker, right? And I'm not using any sort of data that is not publicly available to everyone on Sporttrade. In fact, you don't even need an account. Everyone's betting Jaden Daniels under. So where do I go? I go to the sports book. I bet Jaden Daniels over. Well, I was dead. Like, this ticket's so dead, and I'm sitting there, and he throws that 85-yard pass, and I'm thinking, wouldn't it be wild if you miss this extra point? Like, almost get that vibe when New Orleans had that crazy play against Miami. I don't know, so many years ago, where they're doing all the laterals and shit.
Yep.
And, oh my God, maybe it was against Carolina, I forget. And like, they're going to tie this game, amazing. Are they going to go for one? They go for two? Or they kick the freebie? And it doesn't happen. And the exact same thing happened. Wild, absolutely wild. I mean, the bad beat there is like if you had the under, right?
Right. I mean, it was 10-9 going into the fourth quarter, and it fell 34-26. That game was dead under. Every under was legit. I mean, like every prop under, it was all going to cash. And then the fourth quarter happens. I mean, forget the witching hour. That was the witching fourth quarter in that game. It just didn't make any sense. And then they missed the extra point. They have to onside kick. The guy takes the touchdown and scores. The good play there would be to lay down. Like, what are you doing? Don't go score that touchdown. He goes and scores a touchdown. So you get a special teams touchdown on top of that. So if you're in a fantasy league, you get killed with a special teams touchdown. The Commanders take out 33 teams in the Circa Survivor. So this thing now goes down as they wind up losing. 10.5 point favorites. Have you ever seen something like this where teams in the NFL, it's like, if you're a big favorite in the NFL, you're in danger right now.
This is why, I know you guys spoke about it a couple weeks ago. Like, is the NFL product dead? My view is no. And the reason is weeks, just like we saw, right? Okay, Chiefs, are they going to cover 11.5? I bet there's people at sports books saying, hey, can I get Chiefs minus 20.5, right? And it comes down to the last play of the game in the last drive. 27 now, game-winning, fourth quarter or overtime winning drives for Patrick Mahomes. Dude's on a totally different level. But you just don't see that in the NBA. Like, you don't see, like, the Wizards beat the Boston Celtics, right? Like, maybe they play close for a little bit. Like, to me... Very
rarely does the NBA deliver that knockout blow.
Right? And so that's been really interesting to see all year. I mean, there's 4 or 5 games you look at yesterday where I looked at the Dallas game. I said, not touching it at all. In fact, if anything, I might bet Dallas on the money line. Of course, I didn't. I looked at Colts Lions, which was really close in the first half. I said, if anything, I'd bet the Colts. I didn't touch it. You look at Tennessee, Houston. Houston's having this. What's going on with Houston? You look tonight, Baltimore, not as big of a favorite. Chargers, you sort of look at that and say, maybe they're in reversion territory. So something about the NFL, we all like to complain about it, but guess where our asses are every single Sunday?
Right.
1 p.m. Eastern. My best friend says I don't watch football, and yet he watches. He said, this is the reason I don't watch football. I'm like, Michael, you're watching right now. And you're going to be watching tomorrow, and you're going to be back next week, and I know where your ass is going to be on Thanksgiving. And you know what he says to me? He goes, yeah, I've been doing this for long enough that I sort of know that it's just my shtick, right? I like to complain about it. And so for that reason, there's no lead is safe any given Sunday. And I think you just get more of that in the NFL versus like the NBA. Like, what's the reason to watch some of these really sleeper sort of games?
Well, what happens is you don't watch it until you get a score or you see something and you're like, hey, wait a second. But the intensity of all the games are on Sunday, and a lot of people, it's just been their routine for a long time. They can't let it go. They can't get away from it. And I mean, really, what else are you going to do on a Sunday? So just when you start the discussion about, man, there's a lot of bad games every week. There's this, there's that. The NFL has a couple banger games. Now, don't forget, yesterday there was also Buccaneers Giants, a complete snooze fest. The Patriots Dolphins was terrible. You're trying to watch it. The Vikings and the Bears, though, like that was another game. Like, you want to talk about liquidity, and you thought you were somewhere and you're good. And then they get the touchdown. Wait, they got the onside kick. Wait, what? Did you have people? I mean, that game extended into the afternoon session.
Yes, it
Did
did.
you guys have a lot of bets? Like, where you like? That's when people really start it. If you have the tape,
Yep.
or you're watching it. I used to call it the waterfall. It was like blub, 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 blub. I had a beep sound that would take every bet, and it was just nonstop. People, all of a sudden, your friend Michael, who is not watching football, is betting Caleb Williams over.
Yep.
It's one of those things, right? It's fun.
It's a lot of fun. I haven't checked that game specifically. That was the Bears is one team I did bet. I bet them in the first quarter. I bet them to win the first quarter. Rather, I bet them to win the game. And that one play where Caleb Williams had seemingly like 20 seconds in overtime where he just kept bobbing around, and the defensive lineman was like an amoeba, moving a foot closer every time Caleb Williams would like jump up and down.
They just wanted the referee to blow the whistle.
You're like, is he gonna scramble? Is he going to throw the ball downfield? Is he going to throw the ball out of bounds? No. 2 seconds later, no. 2 seconds later, no. Now he's in his grill. It's like, all right, final option. He's going to sort of try to evade the tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't. Mm-hmm. And you just sort of watch it in slow mo. Everyone knows the play I'm talking about. You watch in slow motion. I was sitting next to a Bears fan. This is like, this guy must have seen this 30 years.
Oh,
he just looked at the TV. He goes like this.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't even want to like ask about the battle scores that guy must have, because incredibly mobile quarterback, so many options. You got back in the game. You've got the ball, and it was like it just all happened in slow motion. Like, I turned to David at that point. I was like, "Can you imagine if that was the Eagles?" He's like, "You can't even like imagine if that was Jalen Hurts doing a play like that." So that was a great game. I don't know where the market makers ended up on that game. I don't particularly. I remember in the first quarter there was a ton of Minnesota money to win the first quarter, and that's what tipped me off with the Bears live. Because once again, you see all those trades, and you say, "Well, okay, why are people betting this on the tape?" Well, the average customer in Sporttrade is a little, more sophisticated than the average player, so maybe they're arbing. Okay, interesting. So maybe they're not really betting it because they really like it. Maybe they're betting it because our market maker disagrees with MGM or Caesar or Circa. And I look at that and I go, if I had to flip a coin and had to put a bet on today, I'd rather bet maybe on the market maker side, especially when you see trade 1 on the tape, trade 2, trade 3, and that price is staying about the same. That's the market maker. You've been there probably so many times, Dave, where people think they're kind of getting one over on you. And you go, sure, you can get a little more. Sure, you can get a little more. Sure. And you think to yourself, at a certain point, if I keep reoffering it at the same price, people are going to realize that maybe they don't have the best of this line. And that's the times I look at the tape and say, when do the market makers kind of hold their ground? Because that means that there's a disagreement generally in the market. Let me go find that disagreement and bet that disagreement, because now I'm getting a price even better than what the market maker is getting. And they love their price. And that's like how a guy like me will bet, because I have no idea how to handicap this stuff.
Did you guys go to 3 before kickoff?
It was
do you remember?
I don't remember. I mean, we list like all those. We list 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, and those are all generally really tight, really liquid markets. So I find that some customers will never lay the 3, and they're always like, I need to lay the 2.5.
Right.
And then when it's the flip side, they'll never give the 2.5. They need the 3.5. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they always think that half point matters so much.
It did for me in that game. It did.
And so did you? You had Chicago
3.5.
plus 3.5.
I had 3.5 in Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, you was sweat. I mean,
I was.
No, they were down 10.
I was sweating like crazy.
By the time we get to overtime, you're like, okay.
Well, I don't know, because then they had the long pass play out of the 10-yard line, and I'm like, what are we doing? Are we going to score a touchdown and kill me? I was like, this is going to be the worst beat ever, because I didn't know they're going to lead up to a kicker or not. And I was like, can you play? Then Darnold snapped the ball, and I went, no. And then he ran and took a dive to get the best setup for the kicker. And I was like, okay, fine. We're good here. Go ahead and kick the field goal, and I went on the hook, and I'm good. That game took days off my life watching that game with the onside kick. The guy didn't turn around. The ball hits him in the calf. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is simple. I'm going to win on the hook. Don't go to overtime. And then we go to overtime, and it was just, yesterday was the best day of the NFL so far. Yesterday was the most entertaining for games, in my opinion, because Dave's right. We had a couple of real stinkers, but we had some really, really good ones. We haven't talked about the Eagles and Saquon Barkley yet. He ran for 255 yards last night.
Dear
That's
Lord.
the ninth most ever in an NFL football game. He had over 300 yards from scrimmage. I mean, is Saquon Barkley the MVP? Alex, can a running back win it? And a running back hasn't won this thing in over a decade.
Oh, it's a great question. Who's leading it right now? Is it
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and then one Mr. Saquon Barkley.
Interesting. I mean, I think if he's third there, he has a chance. If you watch enough of the Eagles, you sort of recognize that man has had such a transformational impact on that team.
Yeah.
Like the offensive lineman, all things considered, you lose Kelsey, right? But you still have a really strong O-line, right? So you're sort of like you net out and say, what do I gain this year versus last year? Okay, Hurts is healthier. That makes a huge difference. Much more mobile. We learned after the end of last year, he was playing through a huge injury the last few games, right? But let's face it, it's the NFL. Last part of the season, everybody's injured. What has changed about that team from an offensive perspective, really, outside of Saquon Barkley? And you sort of watch and you realize, like, damn, I didn't even notice that he picked up like 8 yards there. And last year that would have been 2. And that compounds into having a 9 wins at this point, right? Getting to, being 9-2, right? They just won 8 straight.
Yep.
1-2, 2-2, won 7 straight. That's between that and a 5-5 team, really. And so yesterday was just like, I think everyone in prime time sort of recognizing like this dude's the real deal. Like if he's off to the races, he's gone. And I just think there's like those little deltas year over year where you say like, really the second half of last year and the first half of this year have been largely a lot of the same team. And he's had such a transformational impact. Sure, the coaching turnover and these sort of things, but you just watch the game, you realize like that is a play that the running back last year is not gaining 8 yards there. Or the first play out of the scrimmage, second half. Right? We don't have last year.
Right.
And like as soon as he's sort of into the secondary, you just stop watching. It's gone. He gone. Yeah. Maybe.
It's fun to watch. I got a bit. I fell in love with Saquon when he was at Penn State, and I just loved it. And this is fun to see. He's overjoyed to be there. They're overjoyed to have him. Yet, you Eagle fans, and by you Eagle fans, I don't particularly mean you, Alex, but I mean your friend Michael and all my friends that I went to college with and everything, will still complain that Sirianni this and Sirianni that, and they're still not going to beat Detroit, and they're still this. What's the negative to another win? And like you're there, you hear what are they talking about? Because they're not talking about the Sixers no more, except bad. The Sixers are done. The Flyers are going to lurk. They're a niche thing. They're not good enough to take over the city yet. It's all in on the Birds, baby. What are they saying there?
It's all in on the Birds. Everything has reversed on the whole Sirianni thing.
That was fast.
I felt winning solves everything. I definitely felt into this sort of mentality of like, why does he get chirpy with the opposing fans? Like is that really the job of the head coach, right? And maybe that's his shtick because he does get really pumped up and that's his thing. But I think there were a couple plays where it's a 50-50 call. Do you go for it or not? And it's, of course, like we are all Monday morning quarterbacks. We look at it, we look at the result, and then we use the result to justify the decision always. And you have 4 or 5 just bad luck where you just don't convert. Maybe you made the 51% choice. And then you sort of compound that with like the videos you'd see of like him getting into it with like opposing fans and shit. And you're like, like that's not, but that's his thing, right? And this is an incredible team. And, I think I've shut up about it because I was a little bit on like, oh, should Sirianni be doing that? Or is it more like focusing on the team? I would say 4 or 5 weeks ago, I would have said probably 2 Lions giving 2 on a neutral field to the Eagles, 2.5, 2.25. So somewhere in that like 56 to 44 range, 57, 53. I think now, I don't think it's pick 'em. I'd love to hear what Dave thinks. I still think it's like 53-47 towards the line.
On a neutral?
On a neutral. I still think Lions would be favored, but that's my...
Small. Very small. right
What
now.
do you think? What's your number?
It's probably 1.5 on a neutral, which would make it 2.5 at Detroit, which I don't know if you watch and listen to people in the books and people in the space. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that the NFC championship is Philadelphia at Detroit. I mean,
and the winner wins it all.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. That the NFC championship winner is the winner of the Super Bowl. That's what. Wow.
Interesting.
Okay. I mean, the Lions already overall favorite. Consensus.
Mm-hmm.
There's not. I mean, I'm looking around the books to try to find one that hasn't made the Lions. Believe it or not, the Detroit Lions are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. Yes, the year is 2024, and yes, this is true. I mean, it's. I don't think it's ever been said that before.
And you look at the like. If I'm looking at the standings right now, and you actually can look at this landscape and say there are the 4 best teams in the league. It is Buffalo, it is Kansas City, it is Philadelphia.
Would either one of you two be surprised if the Eagles or the Lions took both the Chiefs and the Bills behind the woodshed and beat them in the Super Bowl by 14? Would that surprise you?
No, I think there's
not even a little bit. It wouldn't surprise you at all. The way they play, the physicality of both the Eagles and the Lions
right now
is so much higher. When you watch the Chiefs play, the Chiefs just set the record for the most one-score wins through 11 games in NFL history.
Ever.
They have 8. They've won 8 games by 1 score. They're barely winning. They're very lucky to be 10-1, given with the way that they have played. The Bills are the Bills. The Bills' defense is a big problem for them, and their offense is there, but it's the Bills. If that's who we're talking about, those are the 4 best teams. There's a big gap in my mind from the Eagles and the Lions down to the Chiefs and the Bills.
I mean, he's making a great point. I'm on NFL.com and I'm looking at the net points. Your points for less your points against. You've got the Chiefs who are net 52, which is incredible, giving a 10-1 record. That's insane. They're net plus 52. The Detroit Lions net 177. So these dudes can run it up on you. The Eagles plus 97. The Bills, I think they've had a couple big blowouts, so they're 106. But I sort of see your point in that I could definitely see. I mean, that'd be awesome to watch, like Detroit winning by 3 touchdowns on Super Bowl. As football fans, right? Like,
because I'm 47, Alex. I remember when the AFC used to go up against the NFC and got their teeth kicked down their throat consistently because the NFC played a more physical brand of football, and the AFC would come in and they hadn't been able to. They can't match it. Like the Lions have 2 running backs that are impossible to deal with. Like it's. And then Jared Goff gets to go play action, and he's got St. Brown, he's got tight ends. Like the Lions are constructed perfectly if their defense, and obviously they have a huge loss with injuries with Hutchinson and whatnot, but they're so darn physical. They beat you up the line of attack. And last night, I don't want to play the Eagles. There's nobody in football. I don't want to play that offensive line. They just kill you. They road grade you, and they wind you. They just get to the second level, and then you have Saquon Barkley, who is looking like as good as a back as there is in football, if not in the last 5 to 10 years. I mean, he's changing the conversation again. Running backs are dead. Are they? Because look at Saquon, look at Gibbs, look at Montgomery. The 2 best teams in football have 3 of the best running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you make a good point. I mean, net 177, that's got to be near a record for, through the weeks.
Because Campbell wants to kill you. He doesn't want to beat you. He wants to kill you. It's his mentality.
I'll say this. I saw it this morning on Get Up. They have 8 one-score wins, the Chiefs do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Last year, the Eagles had 8 one-score wins, and it just caught up to them. The year before, the Minnesota Vikings, sorry, King of Car Seats and Vikings fans, everybody couldn't wait to bet against them because they kept saying this team is not for real. They are a industry term fraud, and it caught up to them. I'm not saying that the Chiefs are a fraud. Don't put words in my mouth. But I'm saying they keep finding ways to win games. That's what champs do.
Yep.
But as champs, lose guys, as champs don't have injuries, they have Patrick Mahomes, and that guy is a magician. He finds ways to win games when he don't have the best team or they play the best.
Yep.
It's going to catch up to them at some point.
100%.
All right. I don't want to keep you too long. I got to ask you this one, last one for me, at least on the way out. Where do you rank Thanksgiving on the pantheon of holidays? It is my favorite holiday. I'm all about the family, the football. We used to play the Turkey Bowl. I mean, there were bloody noses. There were elbows to the face. There was years of it was tackle football until it wasn't, and everybody almost went to jail on the last one that I played in. Where are you at with Thanksgiving?
I would say 2. I'd say it's we celebrate Christmas in our family, so I'd say as our holiday of choice there at the end of the year. So I'd say it's Christmas and then Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving's incredible. It's like the one time of the year I'm like, how much food can I possibly put in my all ass stomach? So and Matt, I'm the opposite. I love the turkey. I love the gravy. I love the mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Then around 9 p.m. I get into that food coma.
Yeah.
Where I can't drive. I'm literally intoxicated on turkey. So there's football, and it's going to be good football.
The late football game is the best football game this week. I mean, Miami Green Bay is going to be. It's the best game. I can't wait to watch it.
Yep.
Are you spending it in Philly? You're staying on the East Coast?
Staying on the East Coast. My dad's brother always hosts it. His son played as a quarterback at LaSalle High School here, which was a state championship winning team. And then he went and he played quarterback at Kutztown.
Oh, nice.
He's a real football, like, can't even imagine him and I are from the same lineage, other than the fact that we both have red hair. He's like, I'm like, Chris, how much can you bench? He's like, 225, 25 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, 225 pounds? You're a quarterback? I literally have to, like, my 2 hands and 2 teeth or 2 hands and 2 feet trying to push this thing up. And
right.
So we'll talk football. Everyone's a huge Eagles fan. There's no one's abandoned ship. There's no traitors in the family. No one's going to be showing up to the family with a Cowboys or Giants jersey. It's like, so things are going to be the spirits are going to be very high, I think, because the Eagles are so good. If the Eagles weren't good, the spirits would be a lot lower.
Last question: fair or foul for Baker Mayfield to do the Tommy Cutlets on the road when he's scoring and they're running it up on the Giants, kicking someone while they're down, or that's football? Go ahead and have some fun.
All is fair in love and war.
Especially on the field.
I loved it. It was so
on the field. I mean, like,
good.
Let's go.
On the field. And they asked him after the game, are you Italian? I was like, what does it matter if he's Italian or not? It's dumb. Like, what are we asking? Alex, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for coming on early and doing this on a Monday. We really appreciate your flexibility.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Super thankful for this partnership, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family.
You too. That is Alex Kane, the CEO of Sporttrade, on a Whale Watch Wednesday, joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Good to get Alex on the show, as it's a Monday. So in case you're like, wait, what day is it? Yes, it's Monday. We're doing it early. Alex was willing to pop on early with us here today for that on that. Yeah, I loved it too. Good for Baker. I thought it was a riot. The reporter was pretty stupid though. It was like, she's asking like, why did you do it? Did you anticipate doing it? Are you Italian? Are you Italian? Who cares if you're Italian or not?
He played it perfectly.
He did.
His answer was outstanding. Like,
I haven't done
you either
23
get it or you don't.
Right.
I think in the post game, especially the NFL, because you only have to do it once a week.
Right.
Like the wear and tear of the other sports, the constant every game, you get a rush of people while you're half naked to come ask you a couple questions. It's
sometimes fully naked.
Well, yeah. I mean, most of the time, like, you try to put a towel on. At least some guys used to not put towels on and stuff.
I wouldn't if I was in the locker room, because I don't believe that the media has any right to be in that locker room. I've said it for years. The media has no business being in there. It's a team's private area. There's no other area in all of the world that we actually allow media to walk into naked people and say it's totally normal. Like there's no worries about it. I'd stand there like buck ass naked, be like, yeah, you want to talk to me? Sure. Come on. There you go. All of you, men, women, all of you. Come on, go ahead. It's so awkward.
We've talked about this. That was when I was 19. And they said, you got to go do post game. What does that mean? You're going to go with the camera person. You get to go watch the game, and then you're going to go downstairs and you go in the clubhouse after the game. Cool. And I had no idea. This is 19 the first time. Like, I'm going in the clubhouse.
Right.
It's a locker room. It's literally grown men in a locker room. There's a post-game
And not just grown men,
spread.
it's football players. It's huge human beings.
I mean, I was in the baseball clubhouse, so it was actually kind of spacious, but
okay.
the visitors clubhouse was not. And everybody, like, they want to talk to two people. So there's 18 to 24 people walking around like it's another day. Just after a game, you get a shower, and then you brush your teeth, and then you get ready to take a quick look on the camera, ask questions. What's going on in here? And, you know, there were a couple guys that knew that everybody was in there, and they were like you. And they were, I mean, they had tripods. Like, the guys would stop. And you're like, what is happening right now? What are they doing? Why are they walking around naked?
Yep.
Hell, if I looked like that, I would walk around naked too.
Yep. And I've look, I've said, I don't understand. I've never understood it. Media members have literally called for my journalism card to get kicked out of the media for that take, going like, do you know how hard it is to get quotes? We have to get close. We have to get it right away. I'm like, why? They can't get dressed? Like, does them being like at their locker, you get better content? Well, yeah, because it's fresh in their minds. Yeah, it's also super awkward. Like watching the Giants be asked those questions yesterday.
Wow.
You know, about the team and basically saying they're soft as F and basically admitting that they quit, admitting that it's not the quarterback, bro. Malik Neighbors is like, it ain't the quarterback. I tell you that right now. I mean, just throwing everyone under the bus. Like, oh, okay. If I'm a Giant brass person, I'd rather have a cooling off period. Get my players not to be on microphone right after the game, half naked, popping off about the coach and everything else that just happened. So I don't know. I've always been very much against. I hate it. I think it stinks personally.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When you go in the locker room, but it's also uncomfortable if you go sit in a little holding area that feels like a cell.
Fine.
And you wait for them to walk in after their cooling off period. And then you ask questions like, are you Italian? Like, like as the person that didn't ask the question, you're sitting there and you're going, oh, that's it.
Right, we're done.
Like, I'm not going to get anything else from him.
Right.
Like, what was just asked? Like, it's awkward, period. But
like only Italians can do this. Like what you're saying is that only Italians can do this. Like, oh, I go like, what type of comment is that? Like she was trying to get something. I don't know. It felt like she was in the New York media and she was trying to get him to say something explosive, and he wasn't taking the bait. And he was like, it's all about fun. And she's like, are you Italian? He's like, I don't know. I haven't done 23andMe yet, but like he was just like, what the?
You have to play. Like you really have to now. With the social media and the ability for clips to go viral so fast, like you have to be media savvy now.
Right.
Before, you really didn't. There was the newspaper, and there was like the team radio show afterward, right?
And
like,
local TV. Yeah, right. And the local news.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now
occasionally ESPN would grab it and put it nationally. If something really, really big was said, then that local clip would go national. But for the most part, you never had the ability to clip and post the way that we do now.
You have to be so media savvy now as an athlete, as a coach,
as a player too. As a media member too. It's not just the.
Well, yeah, I mean, like
media member is going to be.
You have to know as the media person, like they're either in on it or they're not. Like you get to know who you can ask questions to, who you can't.
Right.
But you never, I mean, you're not trying to get them. Like I used to get mad at the media or be accused of being like, well, you don't understand. No, I do understand. You're baiting them.
Right.
Like you're trying to get something to make you the story.
Right.
It's still about the players and the coaches and the games.
By the way, the Maui Invitational is tipped off. Memphis is playing UConn. Memphis is out to a 13-8 lead at the first TV timeout. So
there we go.
We'll watch that for you guys. Number 2 team in the country. A lot of people like Memphis today to cover that. I lean towards the over in this. Remember, the Maui Invitational is back in Maui at the original high school gym that they play in, basically. That means those rims are really soft. So we're going to watch and see the first game here as it goes. As so far out, it was 149.5 was the final, was the over-under that it closed today. So out to a quick start already here, 13-8 for Memphis and UConn. We'll watch that. Yep, soft rims in Maui. Yep, I think the books forgot about that, or at least the market makers forgot about that, because these were always over games, and the numbers are being, I think they're a little depressed, to be quite honest, from a total perspective, thinking the flights or not being familiar with the rims or the baskets or whatever. So we'll watch that with Memphis and UConn. 13-8 the lead for the Memphis Tigers. Speaking of college, let's get to the chaos that was college football over the weekend and what happened this weekend, which was nuts. Let's just start in the SEC. Oklahoma beat Alabama. Auburn beat Texas A&M. Florida beat Ole Miss. One very savvy guy on Twitter decided to release this. ESPN official press release. We are deeply saddened by the events that unfolded yesterday. It is never easy to deal with loss, especially when it's the top of the SEC conference with playoff implications. We will be observing a day of silence to regain our composure as we decide how to process and proceed with the changing narrative to assist getting a 3-loss Ole Miss or a 3-loss Alabama into the playoffs. We know others may not feel the same way, but to us, it just means more. Written by a Big Ten fan, obviously, on that. But what do we do here?
That was outstanding. Yeah, I was just kind of
it's not real. No, that's not real. The juice is a joke.
No. Yeah, that was all. We need the sarcasm print for that. What do? We enjoy the last week of football. Just everybody relax. It's settling itself.
It's settled. It's getting more convoluted. I disagree with you. I think it's getting more complicated, not less.
I don't know. It just it cleared up a lot of things.
Here's your bubble watch. Alabama, Clemson, Ole Miss, Iowa State. Your first 4 out. The next 4 out are South Carolina, Colorado, Texas A&M, and Illinois. Group of 5 is Boise, Tulane, and Louisiana. The crazy part about this bracket that was put out by On3, UNLV is in the bracket.
Oh, so they think they're going to win.
So this is a projection that Ohio State will beat Oregon and win the Big Ten. That Georgia will beat whoever they play in the SEC title game to get the number 2 seed. That Arizona State is going to win the Big 12, which could happen. And Miami will beat SMU and they will win the ACC. Then Texas, you're at large, basically, are Notre Dame and Indiana, Penn State, SMU. UNLV is the group of 5 team up against Oregon. At large, number 9, Texas, number 8, Tennessee.
This is the first time I'm seeing Ari Wasserman's thing. I'm wondering if Ari went to Penn State.
Why?
Looking at this. Because you get a home game against SMU in December, and then we play Miami. Sign me up.
On a neutral.
Sign me up. That might mean sign me up. I don't know who Ari is, but I'm in. All right, Ari. I don't even think this is far-fetched. I mean, Texas loses the game to Georgia. They go to 9th. The SEC people are going to have a real problem with this.
Ari went to Ohio State. He went to Ohio State.
Oh, okay. He's trying to get 2 Big Ten teams in there.
No, Indiana's in. Indiana's in, Casey, from that. They're in the top right-hand corner. They're in as an at-large.
Do you disagree with that?
Here's the problem, Dave, and I'm going to have this for a long time. This is going to be something that it's going to be it's going to take time to develop what the criteria needs to be for who gets an at-large bid, because there is your schedule strength for the top 12 teams in college football. Okay. There are 2 Big Ten teams there, and the top one is Purdue. The second one is UCLA. There's 1 ACC school, and it's Florida State. The rest of them are SEC schools.
Yeah.
Your schedule strength is dramatically different in the SEC than it is any other conference.
Always is. It means
Well,
more.
it always is, but that needs to change, in my opinion.
Okay.
So we need to force teams. I would be in favor of leaving Indiana out. And the reason why I'd leave them out is because I would want them to pay a penalty for not scheduling. The problem is it's too new. Football is not like college basketball. College basketball, you can do it year by year because they schedule it the next year. So the committee can punish a team for not playing road games or not playing a strong schedule and then just getting into conference and playing their.
Oh, big freeze. Big freeze right there. Hold on. Snap your fingers, Jack. Hold on. Hold on. Come back. Okay, you're back.
We haven't had one of those in a while. So that's my issue with it, is that I wish we could do this, but it's the first year of a 12-team playoff, and we're going to kind of establish the criteria. So I think Indiana will get in because they're going to have one loss, and their one loss is against the only team of any ilk that they played worth its salt, and they got their doors kicked in by Ohio State. So I would leave them out. Personally, if I was the committee, I would not put Indiana in. But Penn State won by 1 over Minnesota, and they needed a fake punt to do it. So
that was a ballsy call, man.
So I'm not overly impressed with Penn State. I'm not jumping up and down going like,
hard to win on the road. Ask Alabama. Alabama.
Okay,
Alabama lost to Vanderbilt.
I don't think Bama's a playoff team.
They're going to be discussed because
they are. But
they should be in because they're better than Indiana because of
their
strength of schedule.
But they are better than Indiana. I mean, I'm putting a line through both of them.
You can't put Indiana in because they didn't play anybody, but Alabama played everybody and lost every game on the road.
So that's why they're out. I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm good with Bama being left out. SMU needs to be part of this field. Tennessee needs to be part of the field at the moment. We'll see what they do coming up against Vanderbilt this weekend. They lose to Vandy. They're out too. Bama's out. I have Bama out, but I also have Indiana out.
They're literally the first team out, and these people that like to put the first team out things, which is great because
Indiana or Bama? Yeah, because it's Alabama. Right. Because if you want a 3-loss team, I mean, the problem is as we go through this, does the conference championship loss take you off the board? Because there's going to be teams that will have 3 losses due to the conference championship loss. Does that eliminate them?
Well, it should not.
Okay. But it might. And if it does, then Alabama's got a shot to be in because they're not playing in the SEC championship game. So now you're comparing 3-loss teams.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Georgia's in the SEC championship.
Right. But if they were to lose.
If they lose, they're going to have 3 losses. But
are they out or are they in?
No, Georgia's in.
If
they go to the SEC championship, they have the hardest schedule. How are you going to leave the team that played the hardest schedule out?
Because Alabama beat them.
See, you should have beat Vanderbilt too.
But this is the problem.
Should have beaten Oklahoma, who was 5-5 in trash.
Right, but I mean, you just said hard to win on the road. It's impossible to win on Oklahoma. That was the biggest spread Oklahoma's been as a dog.
Indiana lost to the team ranked 2nd in the country on the road and had special teams end up getting the game to be a blowout. But who is their best win? Don't you want to see India? I don't care about their best win. They won every other game and they blew teams out. It has to be worth something.
I don't think it. To me, it doesn't mean anything. I don't care how many points you win by. That doesn't matter to me. I mean,
Indiana's matter to you, but it matters to somebody.
Indiana's schedule strength. Indiana's schedule strength right now.
Trash.
51st in the country. It's 51st. I mean,
they played all the bottom feeders of the league.
It's better than Miami's. It's better than Miami's though. I mean, Miami's the 59th.
Right.
I mean, Penn State's 32nd. I mean, Penn State's much better than Indiana from a schedule strength. Ohio State's 25th. Oregon is 52nd. 52nd. You guys have a better schedule strength than Oregon does. They're the number 1 team in the country. So it's going to be, yes, I totally agree with that. So schedule nobody in the future, 100%. That's the problem, CBW, that as we go forward with this, and this year is hard because it's the first year and we're going to have growing pains and we got to kind of get this thing to be how we want it. But if you just win, and it doesn't matter who you play, that's what college basketball had to deal with because teams would have 30 wins and be like, well, I have 30 wins. How can I be left out of the tournament? Like, who did you play? You never left home. You never played anybody decent. You played cupcake galore, and now you have 30 wins. But who cares if you have 30 wins? So that's the same thing with college football now. As to who did you play and when did you play them? Because the conference schedule is not Indiana's fault. The Big Ten gave them that schedule. They didn't schedule that. So they're non-conference games. That's what they control. So you're going to have to schedule in years in which you don't have a really difficult Big Ten schedule, you're going to have to schedule a non-conference game or two that shows how good you are. But Indiana didn't know what they had with Sig. They didn't know what they had with Signetti.
No.
They had no clue. This is all lightning in a bottle type stuff. So that's all.
Which is going to happen a lot more as this whole thing changes, and you can go buy a team or get a coach that
Miami
then will
bought a
get
team.
teams to come, or kids to come there and for money and different things. I mean, it's all changing. I just the discussions are just, it's comical because you get to this point to have this opportunity to play.
Mm-hmm.
And we got 12 teams and we still can't figure out who the 12 are.
Well, we never were supposed to, though. That's the
Right.
whole point.
Right.
The automatic bid is what I wanted. I knew we'd be in this debate. This is what they want. Debate's what makes sports go. I mean,
Yeah.
every bar stool debate going on about who is good and who is not is what makes college football. They didn't want to get rid of that with the BCS, the 14 playoff. They wanted to keep that alive. So the automatic qualifiers, the 4 teams that are going to get in, plus the one group of 5, those 5 bids are there. It's the other 7 that we're arguing. And that's good. That's good for sports. It's going to be up to the committee to send a message as to what they're going to value going forward. And it's a tricky, slippery slope when it comes to teams like Indiana. If Oregon loses to Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, which is what the books are projecting is going to happen, they think the Buckeyes are the best team in football. Well, if that happens, how far will Oregon drop? 5, 6, 7. Does Penn State pass Oregon? You guys have a better schedule strength than they do, but you both lost to Ohio State, but Oregon beat Ohio State. They played them twice. How does that factor into where Penn State is? So it's going to be wild to see how they factor these things out. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see 4 Big Ten teams get in and the SEC people cry about it nonstop.
I'm not sure you're getting 4. I don't know if you're getting 4. You're
Ohio
getting
State
2.
and Oregon are in. Penn State's getting in. They're
Yep.
not losing to Maryland.
And
And Indiana's getting in.
It's big. You guys can't lose. I mean, that's one thing. You got to take care of business. So you should you guys should this
If
week.
Penn State loses to Maryland on Saturday, I'm going to be disgusted. I might literally throw up.
Well,
They're there. That's it. They're in. I mean,
They
they just
should.
take
Yep.
care of this game at home.
Right.
It's going to be a coronation. It's going to be a party.
But you might get sent out west. You might get sent on the road. You may not have a home game. The other question is, we're going to let you in, but we're going to make you go on the road.
Penn State's going to go on the road.
Yeah, they might. It's possible. Just depends
With
how they.
one loss.
It depends upon what the committee is going to. I can't wait to see this. I want to see what the.
110,000 at home.
Yeah, but I could put you into Notre Dame and get the same amount of people. I can send you on the road to the Irish and get the same number of people. I don't care where I'm sending you. That the money is not going to be, attendance is not going to be a factor. Every Big Ten time school is going to sell out and have premium tickets. So yeah, see, that's possible, maybe. But the Irish may host, Brent. I mean, they may host.
There's no chance.
Did the Irish host?
As everyone remembers, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois.
They may host. The Irish could host.
They're not going to host Penn State. No, they're going to host an SEC team.
Probably. I can't wait to see how they do that. How do they, which SEC teams are going on the road? Like in this one, they have 2 SEC teams playing each other. According to Ari, he's got Texas and Tennessee. The 2 SEC teams playing each other.
Yeah. Notre
Notre Dame hosting Indiana. SMU, if SMU wins the ACC, obviously they would flip-flop with Miami. But that's a pretty far drop to have them be the 11 seed. That's the last at-large bid. That's the last team in is SMU. So South Carolina fans are furious because their schedule strength is tremendous.
The 2 best teams in the SEC right now, playing the best, are South Carolina and Florida.
Wow.
They're not going to get in.
No, they shouldn't get in. Florida shouldn't get in. Florida's got 5 losses, but they're playing great. I mean, Florida's doing great.
ready to, fire Napier and all this other stuff. They got a team that's beating everybody. I don't know. Does a win over LSU impress you now? Anybody's win over LSU.
That's one of the big problems, right? LSU underdogs in the SEC games are 40-17-1 ATS, best of any conference in the last 5 years, but the only team under 500 is it's LSU.
Look at that picture. Oh my goodness.
LSU is not. I mean, they were chanting "Fire Kelly" on Saturday
At home.
At home, they were chanting because he lost the 5-star quarterback to Michigan, and LSU's season has gone not good.
We talked about that briefly last night, you and I on the phone. Like, we can't worry about a coach losing a player now recruiting. They got a bigger bag.
A big bag, and they got Tom Brady to deliver it.
I didn't even know the bad guy.
Yeah.
You told me that.
The bad guy's
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And it's like probably 5x the amount that you were going to get. I mean, listen, I really wanted to go to the South, and I really wanted to play. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Michigan. Thanks, Tom. I'm going to take the cash, and I'm going to go to Michigan.
Tough pill to swallow, though, if you're an LSU fan, because they hate Brian Kelly. He's not from there. He's from Massachusetts. He tried to ingratiate himself with the fake accent. That didn't work. If you win, you stay. If you lose, you're on a train home. It's going to be on a train home.
Oh, you got the money. I mean, he left Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is in the best position they've been in years. They got to go out to California and win on Saturday.
Unless, yeah, I mean, and that's not going to be.
What if they lose?
I think they can lose. I 100% think they can.
What if they lose?
Then they're out.
That opens the door for another 3-loss SEC team.
Alabama. They're going to try to put Bama in this thing. There's no debate.
I would rather them put in South Carolina.
They're going to try to put Alabama in this thing. They're going to try because their win over Georgia is the best win that anybody has. So the win over Georgia allows them to put Alabama in. So
you throw up in my mouth.
Sorry. I have Bama out. I'm with you. I do not think Bama should be there, but Alabama beat South Carolina. So you can't put South Carolina in over Alabama because Bama beat them. So they want Alabama in. It's a TV show. Never forget this. Okay. The NCAA tournament and the college football playoff. It's all a TV show. The TV show's ratings are better with Alabama in, and SMU or Tulane or UNLV or whoever, when they are out and Bama is in, it is better for the TV show to have it.
Put it in the chat right now. Give the boys and girls something to vote on. Do you want to see Alabama in the playoff? Yes or no?
Do you want to see Alabama?
Does Alabama make the playoff? Yes or no?
There we go. Okay.
Does Alabama
I think most people are going to say no in our audience. They're going to say no.
I don't know.
They don't want Alabama in.
Okay, so does Alabama make the playoffs? Yes or no? Because you're right. I mean, and there are people on both sides.
Yeah.
But genuinely, they should not be in. That was it. Saturday iced it for me.
They've lost all 3 games on the road. Winning on the road's hard. As you said, winning on the road's hard.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, if Notre Dame loses Saturday,
they will have lost at home to Northern Illinois. That keeps them out.
And on the road
to USC.
Who's not a good Big Ten team. I'll make a case for the Big Ten. I can't. It's hard to say. I so miss saying Pac-12. Anything.
Right.
Did they win a road game?
Who?
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama's schedule. They won at Wisconsin 42-10.
Okay.
They killed them. They won at LSU 42-13.
All right, and that was it.
Yeah, but they killed them. They killed at the time. LSU was ranked 15th in the country.
Time ranking doesn't matter now.
Fine. I'm just saying they went on the road to have 2 blowout wins on the road. So it's not like they haven't won on the road. All their losses are at home.
3 games on the road and won 2 games on the road. They only have 5 road games, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they beat Western Kentucky and South Florida at Wisconsin. They beat Georgia at home, 41-34. Lost to Vandy, beat South Carolina, lost to Tennessee, whipped Missouri 34-0 when they were ranked, whipped LSU on the road when they were ranked.
Making a case for Missouri.
I'm just saying that they're ranked at the time. The committee's gonna look at this. Who were they at the time? Who did they play at the time? The snapshot of when they took on that team
I don't
matters.
know what the committee's looking at. That's part of the problem. The SEC has a couple good teams at the top and a lot of caca in the middle.
I disagree. I think it's the top. I think it's the most difficult conference top to bottom. I think the Big 10 is trash. I think the Big 12 is trash. And
the SEC is the same as there's a couple good teams at the top and there's a lot of trash in the middle. And
I disagree. I think there's a lot of decent teams in the middle of the SEC. I think South Carolina. I think South Carolina's decent. I think Florida has become decent with the way they've played recently.
A month ago, Florida was the worst team in the country.
I think the worst 5-loss team, but they're not. But things change, right? That's
do.
Sports.
Yes.
Things change. So right now, Florida, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, those are all teams way better than the Big 10, way better than Iowa, way better than Purdue. Really? Like there's a lot of joke teams in the Big 10. There's a lot of crap in the Big 10 in my mind. There's a couple of decent teams at the top. I don't know how good Oregon really is, okay? Because you can make a case that Ohio State should have won that game. They changed the rule after the game for what Oregon did to run the clock out. So, like, I don't know how good Oregon really is. I think your team is all matchup dependent as to who they play. Penn State gets the right draw. Penn State can go win the whole thing. If Penn State's got to play a team that can go up tempo and that has an offensive line that can move your defensive line and they can run the ball on you guys, you're in trouble. I think Georgia kills you guys. I think Georgia's the worst matchup for Penn State.
Kills everybody.
Maybe, but I think Georgia kills Penn State. But if Penn State plays a team like, I think you do well against Alabama. I think Penn State can beat Alabama.
I think a lot of teams beat Alabama.
Yeah, and because the quarterback is a big question. Yeah, but again, the Oklahoma game I can explain. The Vanderbilt game I can explain.
That's the thing. The SEC people can always explain it.
Well, but it makes sense, though, because Oklahoma, look at playing in Norman. If you go there, you know what playing in Norman is like on senior day.
Right. And again, they're a Big 12 team.
They haven't been that big of a dog at home in 30 years. That was a hornet's nest they were walking into, and they got killed. So that would, I would take Alabama out. I don't have Bama in, but I can explain the losses. The same thing I can explain the Georgia loss. I can explain Tennessee and how with their losses. So I've always said this because I covered the league. It's just a different top to bottom experience in the SEC than anywhere else. And that's why Miami, if Penn State plays Miami, you will kill Miami. You will, that is a dream scenario for you guys to play Miami. So if that's the draw, SMU, who you will kill, Miami, who you will kill, you're in the semifinal. Like Penn State's into the semifinal. If that's where it is.
It's a favorable draw, but you still got to play the games. I think what the SEC argument does, and I'm not just saying it because I'm saying it. I'm going to say it on every show that I'm on all week.
Yeah, right.
It's been like this for years, where they control the narrative. Our conference is better.
But you're scared. But
again.
How is that a narrative? That's not a narrative.
What are you talking about?
That's not a narrative. That's fact. Look at the schedules. That's a schedule power ranking.
Yeah.
Your number one team schedule rank is
when
Purdue.
You start with the head start.
How is it a head start? That's math. That's just a math equation. Who has the strongest strength of schedule in college football? And the Big Ten's teams are UCLA and Purdue. The ACC team is Florida State. Like, that's not a narrative. That's just a mathematical equation that kicks out who has had the most difficult schedule. It's by far the SEC teams. By far.
It always is because they're always ranked high. And they beat each other up. And it's the same thing. It's been saying the same thing for 25, 30 years. And then they play a bowl game. And a Big Ten team wins, and they don't even give them credit
because SEC they don't care about the bowl games. That's
I know.
You guys care about Big Ten teams care about bowl games. SEC teams don't. SEC teams care about championships. You guys care about bowl games. That's the biggest difference. I covered
Michigan beat Alabama last year in the playoff.
I can speak on this because I've covered them both.
Oh,
Iowa fans care about the Big Ten. They're going to go 8-4 again, 8-4 Ferrets, and they keep them in place because you guys care about going to bowl games. SEC teams don't care about going to bowl games. Iowa folks have got to get their annual vacation in. SEC fans don't have that. They don't
I'm
worry
just
about
trying
that.
to remember who won a championship last year. It was a Big Ten team.
Okay.
And Michigan beat Alabama.
Okay. I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about what matters more. Big Ten teams care. SEC teams care about that game against Michigan.
Matters
Absolutely.
about any of that anymore. It's about the playoff. We'll see. All I'm telling you is like the narrative is going to change now that they're going to actually play playoff games. The SEC is not what it was.
What happens if you guys get curb stomped? What are you going to say then?
Could happen then too.
What are you going to say then?
We'll
It's
play
careful.
on the field.
That's a very dangerous take to have with one season. You're going to wrap everything up on 1 year's performance.
All we have one playoff.
I know, but I'm not declaring the Big Ten's dead. I'm not saying that there's some big narrative change coming because the Big Ten will win games this year versus next year. It's a year-by-year cycle. Yeah, it's 1 year. They won a championship. Congratulations. Where's that coach now? He upped and left. And he's got sanctioned. He can't coach in college football for a decade. You can say he cheated his way to a championship. You want to go down that road? I mean, he's literally under sanctions for what Harbaugh did at Michigan. So okay, you won a championship. That's great. I bet it. I love the Michigan W. I don't hate the Big Ten. I'm just going to put it into actual where we are pecking order wise. One championship doesn't change the dominance of the SEC for the last 40 seasons. Like, come on. That's not even, it's not even a fair fight.
I remember when teams won the championship before the SEC. You remember that?
What do you mean before the SEC?
When they won the national championship.
What, by the writers? When the writers voted it in and Alabama claims they have more championships than they won
national championships.
Yes, it's a joke how we did it. It was a complete joke.
Yeah.
92. I mean, I've told Nebraska fans to their face how they won championships was a joke. How we did college football was the only league in the world that we allowed a writer or a computer to have a say in who was the champion.
I can't wait for the schedule tomorrow. We're doing the show early tomorrow, boys and girls.
Early.
Matt and I are doing the show because we're going to watch basketball
all day
here in town. So just so you guys know, we will be here at 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. East Coast show for the boys and girls tomorrow.
Midday show for you guys on the East Coast.
We'll have more of this college football talk tomorrow before they put out this absurd bracket that means nothing again until they play the games on Friday and Saturday, and then they'll have another week of games where it's conference championships and things, and then we'll be able to actually know what we're doing.
I like LL. LL and I need to watch football together. He and I see the world the same.
Yeah.
Okay, to the NFL. Public had a Sunday. Lions, Packers, Bucks, Eagles all won. They all covered. Any of your bookmaking friends crying today?
I hadn't heard from anybody yet.
Okay.
I mean, the Commanders basically destroyed all money line parlays, teasers, different things like that. The Lions are a freaking train.
They really are.
Like every single week.
I took the Colts and I looked at that game and I watched almost every snap of that game, and they didn't play well. I mean, the Lions didn't play well, and they still killed them. I mean, they
played well enough to win. You have to always remember the other team is always trying.
Well, I think it's the physicality, and it's the fact that they've got so many different ways to win. Like if the Colts just couldn't get that one big play, like they had opportunities to hit big plays. They had opportunities. They'd have a flag that would pull back a big play, or they'd have a fumble, or like they try to convert on a 3rd and long, and they'd have just a mistake. Wide receiver steps out of bounds. Like they're just one of these teams that when the opponent just isn't on, they don't have their A game when they face the Lions.
You have to have everything go not perfect, but you have to play your A game.
Yep.
To beat the Lions. You can't give them any mistake.
Breathing room.
You have to make your opportunities with them.
Yeah.
They are that good. And I don't know. So they found the way to win playing not scoring 50 yesterday is the way. I kept watching it. I had it on one of the boxes where I was watching the game. And I get why do you have that game on? It's boring. I need to watch the game.
Learn, right? It's a learning game.
I'm watching to see. I think a lot of people, and you get caught up in this, you keep picking against the team and you keep finding value in the dog and you keep losing. I mean, they're 9-2 against the spread now. The best record in the league, straight up and against the spread. Now, will that change? Yes. Will that change this week on Thanksgiving?
Probably not.
I mean, the number's absurd.
Commanders killed 33 entries.
Oh, bro.
In the Circa Survivor.
Oh, man.
One person didn't put a pick in. How? I have no idea. The value was $150,000. We don't know what happened there, but there could have been some extenuating circumstances that caused that pick not to get entered. But Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans, Broncos, Bucks, Steelers, and the Packers all win, except the Commanders, who were the biggest favorite on the board, 10.5-point favorites, and they lose. If you had a ticket, and we know someone who does, if you have a ticket right now, what would you do with your ticket, which is valued at about $250,000?
Depends who I had left. I'd go another week if I have the right teams left this week. I think I'm good. But you have to have the discussion. I mean, the thing's worth $250,000 right now.
Chat, put it in there. Put it in the chat. We have a poll going. Put it in the chat. You selling? You selling? Are you playing? You have a ticket. We're down to 55, 54 teams. We'll see what happens after tonight. What do you do? What are you selling half? You taking on a quarter? You selling it all? Or are you going to let it ride for $14.2 million? Remember, you got to pick 2 this week and 2 for Christmas.
Right. So you got to pick a game Thursday/Friday, and then you have to come back and pick a game for Sunday. So you get to see everybody's availability. You know where you're at as far as what you think. I mean, we had Spooky on last year, Mark Goldberg, who's the Spooky Express. We had him on right around this time last year, actually.
Bad week. Oh.
And he got a piece, sold. Like, you can sell a portion, you can sell. Listen,
yeah, he had a cut of 5 entries, and 4 of them were on Washington.
Yeah.
Ow. That sucks. How do you sell half? Because who gets to control the picks if you sell half? It's going to be
negotiable.
It's got to be 51%, right? Someone buys 51%, they have the controlling interest, and they're the one making the play.
It's all negotiable.
Okay.
I went in. I saw who you have left. You have the ultimate decision in the pick. Or I'm buying all of the, I take 80% of the ownership of it. You get 20%. You can tell me who you like. I may not pick it at all. I may not even take your call, but you get 20% if we get the rest of this. I'm buying you out, essentially. It can vary all over the place.
Don't most of the poker players who are going to try to buy in, don't they want control?
Don't most people.
Okay. They want control. So you're selling out. Like, you guys saying, like, I'll sell half. If someone's going to come to you and give you $250,000, they're not letting you pick. You're selling it. They're taking over your entry. They're going to pick. If I'm putting $250,000 down, I want control. It has to be on I can't let somebody else.
Yeah. It's like Shark Tank.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm going to give you the money. And yeah, I need to keep in mind the entry. If you win, they pay whose name is on the entry.
That's why the contract's got to be locked. It's got to be airtight. Contract lawyers are going to be, involved. Yeah. This is not going to be like a handshake agreement.
No, it's too much money. It used to be one of those deals. So, I mean, you can give you the money, you can retain control, for so much. Otherwise, the new people get control. I mean, it's got to be really, really hard. But they've perfected the process. There's people that will make this a very smooth transition.
Circa's got nothing to do with it, guys, by the way. Circa doesn't involve it. No. It's all on outside.
No.
Circa pays the name on the contract. That's it. Whoever signed up gets the check. And whatever happens afterwards, they don't care. which is how it should be.
Right.
I can't wait to see if they get down to 4, 5, 2, 3, whatever it is, and does somebody say no to chopping 14.2 million?
I don't know. I mean, the I have to see after this week how many people have multiple entries. The multiple entry thing, people could come up and buy up to 10 entries in this. If you guys are new to this, you can come to Circa. We'll meet you there. We got a proxy service that will meet you there, and we'll put your picks in. But they come in from all over. 10 dimes gets you 10 entries. And if me and Matt come in, I can get 10, Matt can get 10, you can spend 20, and you start the season basically, with 20 entries. If you have multiple entries, your option to buy out becomes smaller. Like, you don't have to do it because you have ways to. I don't know how many multiple entries there are left.
And the one thing Circa will do is that if you are watching, that Circa will let you take a marker out on your entry if you want to bet against it.
Oh yeah, you can get credit at the casino to make bets,
so they'll
to
let you
hedge and different things like that. But if you guys haven't seen it, I mean, they did a Circa Survivor show. It's on out there now. You can find it on Visa, and you can find it. Just search Circa Survivor. I was in it. Matt was in it. A bunch of people that we have contest-wise were in it. Gives you a quick look behind this. The guy not putting the pick in, P-Roll, I was sick to my stomach. I really hope he's okay. Genuinely hope he's not deathly ill.
Yeah, something medical happened to him.
Right, or in jail or something bad had to happen. How you got this far?
$150,000. Just pick a damn team, man. Just enter. It takes 2 seconds on your phone.
I saw some people say, like, well, even if he went to jail, it'd be like, all right, you get one phone call. All right, look, I'm calling somebody. Hey, here's my account number.
Yes,
here's my password. Log me in. Put in the Packers.
Outlot here for the next 2 weeks. Just make sure that pick's in.
Yeah, put in the Packers, and then by the way, call a lawyer too because I'm in jail.
Get me out.
They're gonna keep me for 48 hours, and I can't put a pick in. I mean, wow.
Unbelievable. You told me one of those things I negotiate with the guard. Hey man, you give me my phone for 30 seconds. If I win, I'll give you $5,000. Just give me my phone. Like, I just need to make one quick thing. I have to do this. Like, please. Like, yeah. I would agree. Yeah. We don't know what happened, King of Card Seats. You're absolutely right. This guy might be really sick. Everyone's saying he's an idiot. He's a moron. We don't know.
Oh, I know.
He could be. He may have had a massive heart attack, and he's on, an incubator, and he's not breathing on his own.
Correct.
The guy might be a vegetable for a week. We don't know what. We don't know what the guy happened. So, like, you can't make an assumption that the guy was just stupid. He may have had a serious medical emergency. May have been an awful head-on collision. May have been unconscious. Like, we have no idea what happened to the guy. Like Derek Stevens has said publicly, he does not know what happened. They've not been in communication with this person as to what happened. So everyone's like, oh, he should have had a proxy. Well, okay, but there's no pick. I guess the proxy makes the pick, but that could be very, difficult to do if you lose and whatnot. So internet could be down. Yeah, absolutely. It could be a million reasons aside from just being stupid as to why the pick wasn't made.
I haven't even really thought about this since we have the proxy service, we have an admin team, and we have a process of making sure that everybody gets their picks in. But if we have to make the pick for an entry, it's worth $250,000.
I'm throwing up.
Like, I don't even want to have the discussion. Like, it's crazy to think about. And so many things went through my head on Saturday when I got that, and I called the other proxies that I know and was like, hey, did you guys see this? Like, hey, did you see this? And the conversations and texts that I had with people that are other proxies. And then, like I was texting with Benson and I was like, listen, is everything okay?
Yeah.
And we don't know, I mean, it's part of the business with them, but they're running a book. Like, they're not calling this guy or trying to find out. Like, we need to take bets. We're handling a few millions of dollars on Saturday, and worried about the sniper getting us on the first half of this college basketball game at Hofstra. Like, everybody thinks, oh, well, why didn't they call the guy? Wait, what?
Not their job to do that.
It's not. Like, so the story is definitely one thing, but I kept thinking about, can you imagine me and you and our admin team going, all right, what do we do? Guy ain't called. He hasn't answered emails. It's going right to voicemail. We got to put a pick in. Woo!
No thanks.
I'm bundled up pretty tight there. I mean, you want to talk about puckered up? Whew.
Yeah, that's all. That's taking it all the way to 3:59. We're going all the way to
I don't know. I think
we're going all the way to the deadline of deadlines before we enter that pick.
I mean, we call, text, everything 10 times. Hey, wait, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
That'd be
I don't
so
want to be.
brutal.
I don't want to be responsible for that one and take Washington yesterday.
Oh, God.
I mean,
Can Saquon win the MVP? We asked that to Alex.
I'd love it if he did.
So your market is this. He is by far the runaway for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb that these awards are different, but they are.
Right.
He is third for the choices in MVP behind Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson at plus 650. A running back hasn't won this award in over a decade.
I mean, I always harken back to the great Kevin Garnett when he won the championship with the Celtics.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. I'd like to think it is. No?
I guess so, but I think it's gonna be really hard to get over on Lamar or Josh Allen. I think the MVP is a quarterback award, and the Offensive Player of the Year is a wide receiver running back award. It's kind of how it's broken down.
That's fine. Until
he might get to 2,000 yards though. JPC, he needs 600 more yards in 6 games. I mean, he may get to 2,000 yards rushing. It's not out of the question.
He a home run hitter. Like, it's fun to see because kids go back and look before this most recent time of football in the NFL. There were running backs like going way back, like Walter Payton, who could break off a 60-yard run. Earl Campbell,
yeah,
a guy like that. The Steelers didn't really have them. Franco and Rocky Blyer were more, just 4 or 5 yards at a time and this and that. But there were home run hitters. Home run hitters are fun. Barry Sanders, home run hitter. Any point, anywhere on the field, they can take it to the house. I love it. I love nothing more than watching a guy catch a handoff, get a handoff at the, 38, his own 38, get through the line a little bit, and then go, uh-oh, he's gone.
See ya. Last night, you saw it. It was like, oh, Mo.
That first play, the
second half, got to the edge. You're like, oh, no. Geez. And they did it again. In the fourth quarter, he did it again. He gets to the edge, and the Rams had nothing for it. Before we let go of Sporttrade at SiriusXM, Eagles or Lions, who's been more dominant in your mind?
Can you say push in this?
Yeah, if you want to. You can say push. Equal.
I don't think I would have said Lions up until the last few weeks.
Okay.
But the last couple of weeks for the Eagles have really gone.
Their offensive line.
You know what?
So
they got some monsters up.
So then answer me this question then. Why are the Eagles behind the Chiefs? For the Super Bowl?
They're the Chiefs. Like, everybody bets the Chiefs. Like, you have way more money on the Chiefs at this point in the season.
This is a joke. I mean, KC being the second option is a joke.
Why?
This is
that
a joke.
Makes perfect sense.
It doesn't to me. I mean,
I'm surprised that it's from 3 to 5 with the Lions and the Chiefs. I thought the
too
Chiefs
far,
would be
too
close.
big.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. Chiefs should be behind the Bills.
Well, I mean,
Chiefs lost to the Bills. Chiefs are behind the Bills. I have the Bills ahead of the Chiefs.
I don't even think that that's an unreasonable statement, but you have to understand those numbers are based on not what you think is going to happen. It's
Fine.
based on the number of bets and the
It
amount
just-
of money that you have.
I just betting on the Chiefs is hysterical to me. I think that's running off. That's a Buffalo running off a cliff.
You know they have the best record in football, right?
And they just set the record for the most one score wins.
I know, but
through
they're
11
still in
games
first
in
place.
NFL
Like,
history. Yeah, that's fine, but they're winning. I mean, did they look dominant to you yesterday against the Panthers? I mean, my God, that was embarrassing. I mean, they have Mahomes. Okay, they have Mahomes. They can go ahead and rally and get a field goal with a guy who had to kick a game-winning field goal in his life, who kicks a field goal against the Carolina Panthers.
you have to
The
understand
vaunted
too,
defense, right? Oh, they're all a defense. Their defense gave up a lot of yards to Bryce Young yesterday.
multiple third downs. Bryce kept a couple drives alive. I mean, they moved the ball on him pretty consistent. It was an interesting thing to see. Again, winning on the road is hard. Winning on the road in college football is harder than the NFL, but I don't know. We'll see. Get us out of here so we can finish in
Appreciate you
bonus.
guys who are watching on the replay on SiriusXM and listening on SiriusXM and watching on Sporttrade. Thank you for being here. We're back tomorrow early for the live show. If you're watching live, we're back early tomorrow. It won't matter on the replay. It'll be the same time as always for the replay. But if you guys are with us live, stick around. Do not move. You guys are with us for what we call bonus time. Chiefs are more popular. Fine. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the preseason number of bets is real on the Chiefs.
It should be, but
And it's been consistent for 2 months. Like in September and October, when people were still buying these things and coming to town, and at least here in Vegas, they're buying tickets on the Chiefs. They're not buying tickets on the Eagles. The Eagles were 2-2.
but that
Remember, the Eagles were 2-2.
that line you said earlier with Alex from Good Morning Football, which I hadn't heard before, which is fascinating. That teams that were winning by the skin of their teeth the last 2 years, it all caught up to them in December
Or January.
Makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. And if you want to lay 13 points with the Chiefs this week against the Raiders, best of luck to you. Tip of the cap. Best of luck to you. Want no part of that. Chiefs don't cover as double-digit favorites.
The Raiders don't really have a starting quarterback.
AOC is not awful.
Huh.
Not awful. And their defense may bow up and do something. I mean, they hate it. This is the one team that they hate. And this is the one team that they've been literally like circling all the time. And maybe it's time for Desmond Ridder. Yeah, maybe it is time for him to step up and play. So
I think he's going to play.
He's going to play? All right. I like that better than AOC. AOC is, Ritter's not great, but he's better than AOC. Yeah, right. AOC beat them last year because without completing a pass. Yeah, it's true.
Can you imagine you've saved up Kansas City for this spot?
We're not putting it out there. We're not putting that into the world. We're not putting that in the world. That's not happening. We're not talking about that. Nope, we're not talking about that. That can't happen. The Niners got killed by the Packers. Is that it? They done?
For those of you who are still watching, still listening, that was our B squared play of the week. Not that we ever really have victory laps, but we don't do too many B squared plays. That one felt good.
That was easy.
That one felt good. They got a Niners team that was down, and they just pounded the rock against them. I had it on. There was only 3 games on in the afternoon, but I barely watched it after a little while. Yeah, it was 17-7 at halftime.
Allen couldn't throw the ball.
Nope.
Couldn't throw the ball, couldn't catch the ball, couldn't run the ball, couldn't do anything. That was just 28 points shellacking.
The reason they're not the answer to this question is no, is because the NFC West 6-5, 6-5, 5-6, 5-6.
But the schedule for the Niners is really hard.
This is a problem.
That's their problem. Their schedule is a big problem. It would be one. I'm with you on the idea that like the Niners are right there until you start to realize that they got to play Buffalo this week. Like their schedule is brutal.
Sunday night football
at the
in
Bills,
Buffalo Off
Home
a bye week.
Home for the Bears, home for the Rams, at the Dolphins, home for the Lions, at the Cardinals. That's not easy.
No.
That's hard. That's not, that's bad.
There's
So-
7-point dogs this week in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think they might get smoked again. And then the problem is if they feel like if a team with championship aspirations is out of it, the Jet mentality pops in. They just say, see you next year. And they start getting worked. That's the worry for that roster. Start shutting guys down, shutting down McCaffrey. You just start saying, we'll see you next season.
I don't know.
So tonight, Ravens are up to -3 against the Chargers. Total is 51.
I don't have a feel for this game.
I do.
I don't know. I mean, first thought is Ravens, but
Chargers can't stop the run.
yeah.
Chargers are a very good team defensively. They give up nearly 5 yards per rush defensively. That's really bad against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
I want to see the Chargers win though.
Sure.
For the AFC North standing situation.
I love the idea that everyone's on the Chargers. It's great.
I don't know, everybody's on the Ravens. What are you talking about? Yeah, Blue Spader's a Steeler fan too. Need the Chargers, of course. Yeah.
So a lot of folks are, Ravens can't stop the pass. That's true. But who are you afraid? Who are you?
The Chargers.
Who are you afraid of on that for the people who are catching the football from a great quarterback in Herbert? Who are you really afraid of on that roster? Like Ladd McConkey? I like Ladd McConkey, but you afraid of Ladd McConkey? Like J.K. Dobbins is not running the football tonight. Like number one rush defense in football. So this is the problem. You got to throw the ball a ton. And when you ask Herbert to throw without a running game, he throws picks.
Yeah. I don't know yet. I want to see the Chargers win just for
the move this morning was 2.5 last night. The move came on the Ravens this morning to push it to 3.
Yeah, still have the books on 2.5.
Oh, they're really? Are they back down?
Yeah. We'll see.
Is Circa still at 3?
Circa's at 3 even money on a dog.
South Point's at 3, DraftKings 3, and then it's 2.5 everywhere else. Interesting.
Yeah.
So pro money came in on the Ravens.
We shall see.
Ravens do have the worst pass defense, yes, but that's a little bit of again, you got to worry about who they're throwing the ball to. Okay, this is not Mike Williams. This is not Keenan Allen. This is a different level of receiver that is being thrown to. The reason why the Chargers are great, they run the football and play defense. It's not because of their passing attack. That's the problem. That's why the Chargers are going to struggle, I think, tonight. And it's Jim versus John. No, I think John beats Jim. So I think it's time for that. And you can do a teaser. I don't hate that teaser. That's not a horrible play. I don't know how many points the Chargers are scoring tonight. So they could lose by 10, and then that teaser's dead. That's why I didn't do it.
Total 51. Holy crap.
Wow, it's high. On a Monday night, too. That's high. We'll do one game of each in the next wrap. Auburn and Iowa State, I should say. Sorry. Auburn, Iowa State tonight. This is a burner of a game to watch after football's over. Flip this on.
It's a Maui game?
Flip this on.
Oh, good. What's the number?
This is the game night. Auburn -4 now.
I don't watch any college basketball.
Too late. This is too late.
Let's see. Oh, man. Wow. 4-144. Okay. What do you think? This is too light. You like the favorite?
Yes. Too light.
Okay.
Right on the Ken Palm number. Ken Palm's 4.
Did you see that soundbite? Somebody put Ken Palm's full of shit.
Well, no, that was the head coach of Maryland,
right?
Who hasn't won a tournament game since I think Kendall was not with us.
Oh,
So it's it's always funny when you see who's complaining about KenPom or who's yelling about KenPom, because it's normally the ones who have the problem with KenPom who are losing consistently. Games are
Wasn't it because they won?
Well, no, because it was schedule strength that they were talking about. He was mad about.
Yeah, the schedule strength again is a lot of times it's made up. It's interesting how they measure it. Different people measure it different ways. I'll take your word for it on this. This is the week where you take the time to watch a lot of college basketball. We're going to do it in person.
Good games, yeah.
Here in
good
Vegas
games this
week. We're going to get to see a lot of teams. I can't wait.
Knicks Nuggets tonight in the NBA.
We're reaching.
Reaching, a good game. What do you mean reaching? A good game.
We're reaching.
Like do Clippers Celtics. You want to do Clippers Celtics, but that's a 10.5 point number. That's reaching.
I think that's more interesting.
Really? Oh.
What, you think Knicks Nuggets is interesting?
I do, yeah, sure.
What's
East
interesting
Coast,
about it?
East Coast, West Coast, 4-point number. Are the Nuggets dead? Got Cat potentially playing up against Jokic. Good game.
That's Nuggets easy.
Nuggets easy. Okay.
Nuggets
wow.
easy.
Have you watched the Nuggets recently? They haven't been playing very well.
Nuggets easy.
All right. And then for hockey, Jets Wild.
Oh, I haven't looked yet at the hockey.
Yeah, this is the game tonight.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is a hell of a game.
What time is that?
It's at the Wild, so it's going to be 5 o'clock our time.
Okay, yeah, 5 o'clock. Jets Wild. Number one's going? Wow. That's a hockey game, sir. Dead pick'em?
150, slight Winnipeg a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Wow. Okay. Good. We got a full slate of hockey.
That's a game. You're looking for a hockey game. That's a hockey game to bet to
well,
watch.
Stars and Hurricanes is a pretty good one too.
That too as well. That's a good game. Hurricanes slightly favored on that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Good.
So I got a couple hockey games you want to watch hockey tonight. A couple games are worth paying attention to. Better to book a time. Ravens laying 2.5. Got it last night.
Yeah, it's probably a winner. I don't know. I'm biased. I want the Chargers to win.
Saquon was so fast on that field last night. What is Lamar going to look like tonight? That's a quick track. Like you can make some really good moves on that turf.
As good as Saquon is on grass, he's that much better on turf like that. And that's why I kind of like over tonight.
Okay.
I don't think
over last night. Everyone got smoked on that last night. Everyone followed the Sunday Night Football trend, and nope, that game flew over.
Yeah. So
happening again tonight.
Yeah. I like the Ravens in the first half more.
Okay.
But this is probably a bet.
Okay.
I still want the Chargers to win.
Auburn lane 3.5 against Iowa
your word
State.
for it.
I love Iowa State. I love TJ. I love TJ Otzelberger. This number is the schedule strength for who Iowa State played versus who Auburn has played. It's not Auburn's already played a top 5 team on a neutral and won. They beat Houston. Like they're going to Maui, top 5 matchup, best game in college basketball. Again, this is Auburn to me. Auburn's got incredible offense, incredible defense. This is another flex spot here for the Tigers to prove that they may be the best team in college football. Sorry, college basketball. College basketball.
All right, I'll take the Big 12 side. I'll say book it and watch and learn.
And then the over. I'm against the world here. Everyone's betting under. UNC and Dayton, North Carolina is a top 10 speed team in terms of average possession length. They're going to speed Dayton up. I don't know. Dayton scores over 50 points. This game should go over. I think UNC scores 90 plus.
That's another Maui game.
This is the late night Maui game. This is the late night Maui game.
Oh,
this is our time late. This is like 9 o'clock our time.
Right. Oh, wow. So not many people are going to see this. All right. I'll say book it. I mean, it's the first game there.
Under. For these teams, yes, but the rims are so darn soft on these things. Dayton's team total is 73. Hits that, the game's going over.
So it's at the La Haina Civic
No, it's
Center,
at the high school gym.
Maui.
It's the gym we
Yeah.
all know that we know for Maui. When we see the Maui Invitational, that's what
Right.
we'll
La
see.
Haina Civic Center, it says, in Maui.
Yes,
That's
what
awesome.
the
Chaminade in it?
Chaminade. No, I don't, they might be, but I don't know what the game they're playing. Is Chaminade playing? Not according to my odds screen. They're not in it. Memphis is up 44-43 on UConn with 17 minutes to play. You want to go watch a good basketball game? Go watch the end of that game right there.
Yeah, that's great.
Number 2 team in the country could go down in the first game of Maui.
Pause. Could lose.
Yeah, look out. And Penny might get a damn big win. Penny beat UNLV by 4 here. Go beat UConn in Maui. Okay.
I mean, these games don't mean nothing.
What are you talking about? Yes, they do. Of course, that you're building a resume. Yes, these games matter.
Yeah.
These games matter.
Okay. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2.
It matters.
You're
going to hear it come Selection Sunday. Memphis beat UConn in Maui. Big win, big marquee, big feather in their cap.
November in Maui.
Matters. Always has. Always will. It matters. 100%.
Okay.
Favorite thing about today is what?
Thanksgiving week. It's just it started. It's just trying to navigate a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things, but it's the Turkey Day memories, the Thanksgiving memories. It's the trying to get home in time to to see everybody and spend time together. With my 2 oldest, this is going to be our first not as a unit Thanksgiving.
Oh, are they staying east?
Yeah, they're going to my brother's house.
Nice.
Because travel this week is not easy. And we always have to remember that. Like, I've taken trips on Thanksgiving Day is the best day to go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like trying to get there starting tomorrow. I mean, you can fly today, I think, is and not maybe but Tuesday, Wednesday, nightmares getting around, driving. Everybody have patience today. Just patience all week. I'm going to preach that today, tomorrow. There's a lot of people with a lot of things going on, and you have no idea. I say it all the time. Everybody's going through something. Trying to get home in time for Thanksgiving is a big deal. So my favorite thing about today is that I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere other than we got volleyball practice tonight. We started up.
Very nice.
We had a couple months off. It starts today. I got to make sure her hair's right and she's dressed. I'm on my own because practice is on my watch. So I get a 10-year-old and making sure we're going to not fight today to get to practice.
I've got 3 things. The first, for the first time, I get to say happy birthday to Coach Greg McDermott. This guy is incredible. Coach Mac has, I don't know who does it or how he does it, but he sends happy birthday text messages to everyone. And I mean everyone. Anyone he's worked with, any player he has had, dating back to his days like in North Dakota. Today is Coach McDermott's birthday. We'll see him tomorrow. Creighton plays here in Vegas up against San Diego State tomorrow. So I want to wish Coach a happy birthday. It was very fun to send him a text this morning and say, I get to tell you happy birthday, and you're in my city. You're actually where I live. I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. So we'll see Coach Mac tomorrow. That's why we're doing the show early, because Creighton plays at 11 o'clock local time here in Vegas. Number 2, our friend Justin, who I'm efforting to get on the show, who did the 7 marathons in 7 days in 7 continents. This is a dream for you and me to do. I want us to follow their path. They opened up a retail store yesterday in a mall in New Hampshire. The Chaos and Kindness store in the mall.
It sells what?
All Chaos and Kindness branded stuff. Hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, gear. Just a gear store. Imagine having a BVB store in a mall. You just walk in and it's all BVB stuff. And like the outlets here in town.
I've run a retail store. I don't know if I want. No, I don't know if I want to do that. But yeah.
So
Wow.
congrats to those guys. Another thing we'll talk to Justin about trying to get him on next week
Awesome.
when the holiday's going to calm down. But then finally, Amanda and Brooks and Amanda's mother land tonight. So I'll be at the airport late night tonight. 10:30 they're landing tonight.
Perfect.
In
That's
Vegas.
good.
That's perfect.
Be nobody there.
Right. Yes. That would be. There was some big alert. Their airline sent out this message saying extremely busy. Vegas is extremely busy. I was like, no, it's not. Everyone from F1's gone. Like it was busy last night.
No, they're leaving today.
Yeah, this morning.
The airport is busy today.
Okay, but tonight?
Oh no, 10:30 is good.
Yeah, okay.
I mean you should be fine.
It's Terminal 3 anyway, so it's in and out.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Oh.
I never go. Terminal 1's a single worst existence. It's night and day between Vegas. If you ever can fly in Terminal 3 in Vegas, always fly in Terminal 3. It's not even a question. Terminal 1's very busy. Terminal 3 is simple to get in and out. And that's JetBlue, so that's what flies back and forth from Boston and Vegas the most. So it's going to be fun. So, guys, remember, tomorrow morning, it's an 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock in the morning, early start. We're off Wednesday, off Thursday, off Friday, back on the following Monday for the Thanksgiving Day holiday. So tomorrow we will be hopefully joined by Adam Bjorn because we got to keep the hot streak going with Adam because he's been crushing it. So we got to get him on tomorrow for a primetime Tuesday. We haven't done a primetime Tuesday before, but thank you to Alex Kane for coming on today, doing a Whale Watch Monday with us. That was a lot of fun to talk to him. He is Dave. I am Matt. We are back tomorrow early, 11 a.m. Eastern for BVB.